me. It's your girl, and I'm wading in the water with Pastor Apostle Jeremiah Fleming. Of course, it's your girl, and I'm one sister to another. I'm the show with information, inspiration, and godly revelation, and we're heard live right here at Intellectual Radio, iHeartRadio. Welcome, you guys. Bless you all. Thank you so much for joining me. I am excited because guess what? I got my hair spiked. Come on here. Just came from work. Had somewhat of a challenging day today, but God has been faithful to me. And I'm telling you all, I believe that I am even moving us right into the segue of our guest today and about what he's going to be doing and what he's going to be talking about. Because, Queens, when it all falls apart, we can grab it and piece it all back, put it all back together. Come on here. We're not Humpty Dumptys. Come on. Yeah, it's your girl, one sister to another, with the show with information, inspiration, and godly revelation, heard live right here at Intellectual Radio Studios. Y'all know we're moving, but I can't tell you where we're moving to. But this is our last show here at our old studio. And God has, when I first came here, I remember about almost 4 years ago now, I believe I prophesied to Earl Winfrey. The only thing he ain't did yet is he ain't preached yet. So we still believe God. Come on here. Still believe God that Earl Winfrey gonna preach like his granddaddy. Come on here. So when God called him home, he'll lay on that bed and just, y'all have to know this inside joke about Earl and I. Earl told us about his granddad and about how he was always crying. No, he was always telling them, when God called me home, I'll be ready to go. And Earl say, when the Lord called that man home, he called him home a little bit first. And when he called that man home, how that man cried like a baby. So when I first met Earl, this was one of the first stories he told us. It's your girl. It's your girl. I'm not crying because I ain't going nowhere. It's your girl, Pastor Angela Johnson. Of course, we're one sister to another with the show with information, inspiration, and godly revelation. Y'all know how I kick my show off. I've got to tell you, today is a gift from God. And what you do today is your gift right back to him. Listen at this. You were just listening to Apostle Jeremiah Fleming just kicked my show off. Did y'all hear that? It's called Wade in the Water. Y'all talking about an amazing, amazing vessel. That man is gifted to the tens. Y'all say gifted to the nines. I say he's gifted to the tens. So listen at this. We're going to be having, of course, my girl, Tanya Smith, my cousin, calling in from Vicksburg, Mississippi. She'll be calling in just a bit. We're going to be having our tax tip. Anybody out there got your taxes back? You filed them? You scared that you ain't going to get them back in time because you may have made some mistakes on them or whatever? Don't fret anymore. We've got, of course, Smith. Our Smith is calling in today. Tanya Smith, our accounting accounter. Is that even proper? Look, is that even grammatically correct? She's calling in today from Vicksburg, Mississippi. My cousin is calling in and she's going to give us a tax tip. But also today, our guest is going to be none other than Bishop R.C. Blakes. We should call him the fly guy because he's always on somebody's plane. The fly guy, Bishop R.C. Blakes Jr. Of course, he's the bishop of New Home Family of Churches in New Orleans, Louisiana, and also Houston, Texas. But he's also the author of, and y'all can see the book. You can see the book. He's also the author of Queenology. He's also the author of Queenology. And I love his tagline on it. It says, there's a queen inside of you. I think that'll preach. There's a queen inside of you. And so every woman is a queen right inside the book, he says, but you just don't know it yet. So our author today is Bishop R.C. Blakes Jr. He's Samuel Blakes. Y'all know the singer, prayer warrior that gets on us on Facebook Live, I believe, every day and prays us through, prays for us. That's his brother. I think it's his younger brother. I think Bishop R.C. Blakes Jr. is the eldest, but he's my big brother too. And I think I might be older than him. At least I think I am. But Queenology, of course, Bishop R.C. Blakes is going to be our guest today. He's going to be calling in. But he's also, I want to share this with you all as well. So brain, calm down. He's also the author of Wisdom for Women in Ministry. I've got that book. And also the Daddy-Daughter Talks. He is now going to be on tour with Queenology, and I believe the next stop is going to be Atlanta. I believe that is March the 2nd. So I want to make sure that you all are tuning in and that you're listening in, making sure that you're doing that. Want to make sure you know that we're not renegades. We're sponsored always by Greater Love, Greater Works Outreach International. Of course, that is 17 West 620 Reardon Villa Park, Illinois, 60181 if you're going to navigate. Of course, my husband and I are your fearless pastors and leaders over there. God has been amazingly great to us, and so we are blessed. We're also sponsored by Everything Moves, promoting and consulting. Vending is our business. If you want to do that event and you want to come away and not have a deficit, I'm telling you all, you want to call your girl. 630-935-9093, 630-935-9093. Listen, want to give some shout outs today before our tax person calls in, before Tanya calls in. Want to give some shout outs to our own church, our own ministry. Let me first give a shout out to our sister church, which is Light of Christ Ministries. Pastor Tracy Murphy and Lady Serena Murphy had their first prayer breakfast of the year at our facility on Saturday. Y'all, they said it was their first for this one, for the one spearhead. Her name is Vernisha. It was her first. When I tell y'all that girl is a smart cookie, she's smart. She went and got her daddy, who's a chef, and told him, Daddy, this is what I'm doing. I don't want it to be sloppy. I need you to help me. That man walked in there, was cooking. Did y'all hear me? He had his chef's jacket on right there at our church, cooking us some ready-made eggs. You know, you got me. If you make my eggs fresh, you got me. That man had bacon. Earl, that man had bacon here. That man had the hog, and it was not one. See, if I make a whole pack of bacon, there's going to be a piece of bacon that's going to be a little undercooked. That man, every piece of bacon that came up from that downstairs from our kitchen, that every piece of bacon was crisp. Somebody say crisp. Yeah, right there. Say crisp. I mean, every piece of bacon. We had French toast. We had bacon. We had fruit. We had danishes. We had coffee, orange juice. We had ready to make eggs. And let me, I can't forget about this. I have to slow down. We had potatoes, y'all. We had these country potatoes. Everybody can't make me potatoes. My daddy, Hot Smith Roosevelt, is the only one I know that can make some good potatoes. But this man, he made some awesome, awesome potatoes. So I have to give a shout out to the Light of Christ Ministries, Pastor Tracy and Lady Serena Murphy. Thank you all so much for allowing us to be your church, be your covering, be your pastors, be your mentors in the faith, and to cover you. As well as, got to give a shout out to my own church, Greater Love, Greater Works Outreach International, where we, of course, had our Black History program and service was yesterday. We started church an hour later to get in everything. So church was at 12:30. And y'all check this out. Can you not believe? Y'all know how the devil tries to do it, but you got to tell the devil he don't get no authority. He doesn't get any oomph. He gets absolutely nothing. And so, of course, the sub pump in our basement totally shut down. And my brother and I were dropping off some supplies from World Vision the other day. And we walked in and there was, whoosh, y'all know, come on, water everywhere. And of course, the men of God, the board came down on Thursday when I called them when it happened. They got down there and everybody started getting the fans in. Then they got the shampoos in. Of course, you still had things floating in the boiler room. You had to get the plumber out. He had to change the sub pump. I mean, all of these things. The heater guy had to come out. Look, we had to get some odor eaters and we had to take everything and transition everything to our upstairs upper room, which is our sanctuary. And don't you not know it? God knows every hair on our head. God knew this was going to happen even before we were born. And so can you all believe that our church, when we walked in there, it was vacant because the congregation had gotten older. They had stopped coming. The young people had stopped coming. Predominantly white church in, of course, Villa Park. They had stopped coming. So the church had been vacant for 5 months. Do you all not know a young man came over to fix our gutters, clean the gutters one day, and he said, Pastor Angela, did you all not know myself and some other gentlemen built this extra portion, an addition to the church? Somebody say amen to the addition. We were able to take everything we were doing, the prayer breakfast and our dinner for yesterday after our of course, after the Black History program, we were able to take everything up to this addition to the church, which is right outside of the sanctuary, got a fireplace to it. We were able to get probably about 8, 9 tables up. God was faithful to us. When I tell y'all that our Black History program and service was the bomb.com, we had 3 churches involved: Light of Christ. Of course, we had Bodybuilders, which is Pastor Mikael, and of course, Katrina Harris. Also, Yolanda Harris, Prophetess Yolanda, who is mom to Mikael. They were there. And we also had our own church. But when I tell y'all, our newly appointed director of arts at our church, her name is Markia Odom. Her mom, her dad, Mark, her mom, Barbara, got together and they gave us one of the creme de la creme, most excellent Black History programs. You all got to go out there on my Facebook page and look at some of the dances. My daughter Robinique from Friends danced. I mean, they was, they was doing the African dance. When you do the African dance, you got to be a little limber. But I'm telling you, we give a shout out to the team that helped Markia Odom, and we give a shout out to our own Greater Love, Greater Works Outreach International Urshas, the deacons, the pastors, our own pastor, Pastor Rob, for giving us the authority to be able to get all this done. I appreciate you all today, and we just thank you so very much. But I'm telling you all, I believe that we're living in a time where we cannot just talk about our young people. We've got to be about encouraging them. If you say I'm doing something wrong, show me how to do it right. Men, brothers, something I noticed in our church, we got little boys coming up through our churches. And now the boys come right in our churches and run to our men pastors because they are surrogates. They're raising them in the admonition and the fear of the Lord. We need this today, you guys. And so we can't just be talking about it, but we've got to be about it. Listen at this. I'm going to go to my first break, but when I tell y'all, I got my guest that's calling in, of course, R.C. Blakes Jr., Bishop R.C. Blakes. He is the bishop and pastor along with his brother Samuel Blakes. They're the children, the sons of course, R.C. Blakes Sr. Y'all remember back in the day, we used to watch him on Monday nights right after, of course, Angela Ray Ministries. Y'all know, okay? The Church on the Rock, it's called. And so he's going to be calling in. I'm going to talk to him about some of the work that God has him doing, particularly the name of the book today we're going to really break down a little bit for you as much as we can. It's called Queenology. There's a queen inside of you. I believe that the reason why sometimes we almost nut up is because we do not yet know what to do with all of this positive. Isn't that something? You can have positive energy going on in the inside of you. And if you do not know what to do with that positive energy, that energy can go sour. And so some of us don't know that we're queens. And so, of course, we're acting out. Come on. And so even if you're married, even if you're not married, you want to make sure you're calling your friends, call your girlfriends, call your pastors, call your prophets, call your leaders and tell them one sister to another is on the air. And we're going to be talking to none other than our brother, our friend, Bishop R.C. Blakes Jr. is going to be calling in. Go talk to him about queenology. Go ask him a little bit about women for wisdom. I'm sorry, wisdom for women in ministry, wisdom for women in ministry, and also the daddy and daughter talks. Okay, he talks about how we really need to be careful about being spiritual moms and dads, but particularly about being spiritual dads to daughters. What does that intake? It just doesn't. You don't get to just say, I'm the person's spiritual dad. That comes with a responsibility. And that responsibility don't have tithe and offering on it. Come on here. My spiritual dad don't ask me for a nickel, but he helps. And then I want to help him because he asked me for nothing. Did y'all hear what I just said? And so we're going to come back in just a minute. One sister to another. IntellectualRadio.com. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's your girl, Pastor Angela Johnson. Of course, we are one sister to another with the show with information, inspiration, and godly revelation. And we're heard live right here at IntellectualRadio.com. I don't know if you all know it or not, but the reason why you see a little, maybe some things behind me look a little off today is because we're moving. We're moving. I can't tell you where we're moving to, but those of you all who are guests and you come in live, you will know. But we're moving to of course, our new location. And so we're just so excited about that. Want to give a shout out to my own husband, Pastor Robert L. Johnson Jr. Somebody get on Pastor Robert L. Johnson Jr. page and say, Angie say you need to be tuned in to the show today. So we giving a shout out to him. Gonna be celebrating another birthday. Ain't that something? Earl don't like me to talk about how old I am, so I won't, but I'm gonna be celebrating a birthday on March the 6th. I believe that's a few days from now. And so I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to what God is doing and why he's doing it, how he's doing it. Can I tell y'all something? He's God, and so he doesn't need our permission to do what he does. Listen at this. Our guest today is going to be calling in. And of course, he is the author of Queenology. Bishop R.C. Blakes Jr. is going to be calling in. I'm telling you, how about the forward? The forward of this book was done by his wife, none other than Lisa M. Blakes. And so I thought it'll be just cool for us to make sure that we made mention of her. Y'all talking about a sweetie? She is absolutely a sweetie. Can you all imagine having a husband like a Bishop Blakes? I always say Pastor Rob gets to have a wife like Angela Johnson, but having a husband like Bishop Blakes, and then he's flying all over the world all the time. She gets to go, I guess, maybe sometimes, and then sometimes, most of the time, she has to stay in whatever town because they're in two cities, basically, taking care of business. But she's having to stay behind sometime in this, make sure other things are taken care of. But what I love, you all have to read the book. So let me say that first. Go get the book from, of course, you got to go get the book, rcblakes.com. You can purchase the book. It doesn't take very long for it to come. Go purchase the book, rcblakes.com. Ronnie Collins, how are you doing today? rcblakes.com, rcblakes.com. Go get the book. And of course, you know what? Get more than one and give it out. Give it out to some of your sisters. Give it out to some of your friends. And of course, make sure that they have it. Listen at this. I want to read the prologue because, of course, it is the foreword is written by, not the prologue, you guys. The foreword is written by none other than Lisa Blakes. And I did want to possibly read that to you guys. Yes. One of the things I really love about this book is it breaks down some parts of us that we really don't want to talk about. Oh, come on here. Did y'all hear what I just said? This book breaks down some areas in our lives that we really don't want to talk about. You know what I meant to say? I don't want to read the forward, but what you all probably don't even know about this book is, did you all know, he's going to be calling in just a few minutes, did you all know that the story of a broken queen, Lisa's story, I want to read just a little bit of that to you, and then we'll go on. As a very small child, Lisa was separated from her beloved mother by her abusive father. She was brought from Jamaica to Canada. While in Canada, she was abused in horrendous ways. It was so sad that by the age of 16, go tell somebody that we're on the air and that we're going to be having our guest. Of course, Bishop R.C. Blakes is going to call in, and we're going to talk to him about this work that he's doing that I believe is galvanizing and just causing our women to stand strong and stand up and be counted even now. Go tell somebody that he's going to be calling in just a few minutes. And so it says that it was so bad that by the age of 16, she emancipated herself and ran away. She worked, went to school, and took sole responsibility for her own well-being. She was alone and without any support system. That still makes me sad. At the same time that she was exuding so much strength for a young girl, her self-esteem had been so depleted that she had no concept of self-worth. She went through a season of suicidal thoughts. The queen that she was, eclipsed by a cloud of human depravity. But despite all that she suffered, she was nonetheless a queen. A queen is a queen, either sitting on a throne, beautifully arrayed, or broken in the gutter. Did y'all hear what I just said? A queen is a queen, either sitting on a throne, beautifully arrayed, or broken in the gutter. Her value and identity are immutable. No matter what you're going through, no matter how you're going through it, no matter who's trying to drag you through it, you better know today that you are a queen. A crown is no less valuable because it's fractured. I'm talking to some women today. And a woman is no less a queen because she's been broken. My love, this is Bishop Blake's talking to his wife, Lisa. My love for Lisa made me do something I had never done before. Lisa made me do something I had never done before. He says, I paid attention. I want to know with my brothers out there today, are you all paying attention, or are you going on about your way, acting like you don't see your woman crying? You call it whining, but she's crying out for some help. She needs help. And look, you need some help helping her. Maybe you need to go and sit down and read the book as well. And so your woman is broken. She's broken and she needs you. She needs you. She needs you. Of course, she needs you. And so it says a crown is no less valuable because it's been fractured. And a woman is no less queen because she's been broken. My love for Lisa made me do something I had never done before. I paid attention. Sometimes I would get extremely frustrated with her behavior and weird ways. She was too possessive, always suspicious and uncomfortable with compliments as I paid attention. Any of you men out there, you're going through any of this, I'm telling you all that God has still called your girl a queen. Now listen at this. We're not particularly so much talking about just a girlfriend as much as we're talking about this woman that you decide to take to the altar and tell the world that you're going to spend your life with her. If you all were able to have children, you're going to have your children with her. Sometimes when you get the package at times, by the time you really take some good looks at it, the package has been marred. It's been rattled. It's been broken. She's still a queen. Did y'all hear what I just said? She is still a queen. She's still a queen. Glory to God. And so, of course, we just thank God so much. We believe that he is on the phone. Look, I think I gave him an awesome introduction. Listen at this. We've got on the phone with us today my big brother I just made him my big brother. And I might be older than Bishop Blake's, actually. We're going to find out. But I made him my big brother from the moment I start following his work. I believe it was Daddy-Daughter Talks. I started following him on Periscope. But you all check this out, how this thing has come full circle. I followed his dad. I stayed saved because his dad didn't play no games. Did y'all hear what I just said? His son don't either. But I used to follow his dad. Used to come on Monday nights right after Angie Ray Ministries Church on the Rock. Bishop R.C. Blakes is the bishop of course, a New Home family of churches, New Orleans, Louisiana, my mama's other hometown, and also Houston, Texas. But he's also the author of Queenology, which we're going to talk to him about today, and two other works, probably more than two other works, but I'm going to talk about them: Wisdom for Women in Ministry, and also Daddy-Daughter Talks. Will you all welcome my guest today, none other than Bishop R.C. Blakes Jr. Hey, Bishop.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. You doing good?
I am fantastic. I just landed back in Houston, and I'm in the car.
Wow.
Talking to you. What a blessing it is. Technology is absolutely amazing.
Isn't technology something? So Bishop Blakes, do us a favor real quick. introduce yourself. And so some of my folks that are on, they're chimed in from Facebook Live and of course Ustream. It's all over today. But some of my folks remember you coming on last year for our Day of Champions. And listen, you dropped this bomb, and we said if we couldn't remember nothing else, we were going to learn that everybody hanging with you may be with you for whatever reason, but you better learn how to bust a move. Come on, tell the folk who you are today and share with them that you're married to the lovely Lisa, and share with them what you've been doing here on them planes. Come on here.
Well, I am R.C. Blake, and I think that you have given me a tremendous introduction. I'm the son of R.C. Blake Sr. and happen to be, as you put it, the husband of the lovely Lisa Blake, who's sitting next to me right now and driving me while I'm trying to talk.
Oh, hey, Lisa.
And pastor Blue Home Family Worship Center in New Orleans, Louisiana, between New Orleans and Texas. We have 6 locations. I'm the presiding bishop of the Family of Churches Fellowship International Churches, from one end of the United States to the other, and just happen to be an author of some books that speak to the empowerment of women. And that's why I'm really glad to be on with you today, because, you know, that's something that God has really kind of etched into my spirit, and that is to bring, as a father, to bring healing to a generation of broken women.
Amen.
And I didn't really know what God was kind of pushing me into when I initially got into this vein. I thought I was just going to teach a message, write a book, and that would be the end of it. But the reality is that this has become a movement that has spread across the nation, really into other countries, because we're shipping books. I'm answering emails from Russia to Australia to Africa to England, just all over the world, France. It's amazing what God has done, but it also speaks to the fact that our women have been broken. And one of the things that God showed me was that when a man does not recognize the importance of speaking to the health and the well-being of the women in his life or in his community, that man is really forfeiting his future, because God gave us men, gave society the woman, because the woman is the only human agent that is possible of giving, or possible to bring, has the possibility of bringing birth. And when a man does not respect the health of the woman, he is forfeiting his own future.
My Lord.
And so as I have been speaking to the well-being of women, it has just been amazing, the response and how God has just shifted and changed lives. So I hope I didn't talk too much.
Oh my God. Bishop R.C. Blake, and you just said it. You said it much better than I can say it. I just said it before you called in, that this particular work, and God has given you much to do, but this particular work about queenology, I believe, has galvanized and changed the mindsets of women everywhere. I don't care what age you are. We're now walking around believing that we can be the queens that the word really calls us. Tell us this. We're going to go right into it. Oh my God. Look, kings produce queens. Kings produce queens. I want you to share with us a little bit of that, but I want you to also share with us what was the driving force behind you starting this work? Because anytime I pick up the book, and I was at work today, out on the ramp at O'Hare at work, and I picked that book up and I was looking, and I said, I wonder, does he really know what this book is doing for women all across this land and this country? Talk to us about the driving force behind, of course, queenology.
Well, it really is the spinoff from the initial book, The Father-Daughter Talk.
That's what I thought, yeah.
I wrote The Father-Daughter Talk to a generation of women who have been hurting and making poor decisions in life, relative to relationships, relative to their money, relative to careers, because they never really had the influence of a father. And so I wrote that book as a conversation that every father should have had with his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got through with that book, and that book has done what it's done, and that book is still probably selling more than anything I have.
Yep.
The next step was to address the psychology of the woman.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we dealt with her brokenness. We dealt with the fact that she's struggling with from a father wound. We dealt with the fact that she's making all of these poor relational choices because, in some sense, she's trying to find the affirmation her father should have given her, you know, in the arms of some man, some illicit man. But once we move her past that, now we have to tell her who she really is. Yeah. And we have to bring about a clarity of her self-definition. And so this is where queenology comes from. It's like the natural progression. It's like the natural progression from the father-daughter talk to now dealing with the consciousness of the woman, who you are, how you're supposed to think, how you need to behave, how you accomplish the status that God has called you.
Come on here.
And so it was just really the continuation, I suppose, of the message.
Absolutely, absolutely amazing. And it really makes good sense. Look, if y'all need to go get the book, please go get it. No, I need y'all to go get the book. rcblakes.com will get you the book. rcblakes.com. Of course, Bishop Blakes, I'm not giving them everything because I do want to keep the listeners and the viewers right now, keep them excited about what they're going to get in their hand. But I will tell you all that you have to invest into your own human success. You got to invest. Listen at this. A queen is a queen, either sitting on a throne, beautifully arrayed, or broken in the gutter. Her value and identity are immutable. I always say that, you know, we look vogue on the outside, but some of us queens who have not realized we're queens, we are vague on our insides. Come on, talk to us a little bit about sitting on the throne, but you still jacked up because you really don't know you're a queen. Come on, talk to us a little bit about being broken, but still being a queen.
Well, your identity, when we use that term, immutable, it means that it's unchanged. So there are a lot of women who have gone through very difficult circumstances in life, made a lot of bad choices, had multiple kids from multiple men, submitted yourselves, subjected yourselves to all kinds of disrespectful treatment. And your life right now, from a visible perspective, it looks like it's in the tank. But in the gutter or sitting on the throne, God still calls you queen. And every woman is a queen. That is the point. Every woman is a queen. God has called you to that. You have been created and ordained for that. Every woman is a queen. Most women are unaware of it. They've not been made aware of it. So they're what I call in the book unconscious queens. Yeah. And the purpose of the book is to begin to awaken these sleeping queens to who you really are. Because once you know who you are and your consciousness is awakened, then your behavior will follow, and then your circumstances will follow, and then your life will change.
Yes. Listen, of course, the folks on Facebook are giving you so many hearts and thumbs up. It don't even make sense. But listen, and so I want to move you a little bit. I want to move you just a little further on. I want you to talk to us just a little bit about, and we can tell, Bishop Blakes, that the Lord has you seasoned. I don't, I always say, God, you just a bad God. How do you give a gentleman, a male, how to speak to the daughter that's in us? Come on, the queen that is in us. And so one of the things I thought was really unique that you said in the book, you said a queen pays more attention to what a man doesn't say. Talk to us about what you were thinking about when the Lord, he dropped that in your basket. A queen pays more attention to what a man doesn't say.
Well, queens are intentional. And when I say that, I mean, queens are not, a man cannot come into the presence of a queen conscious woman, of a woman who's really aware of who she is and is fully and completely conscious of who she is.
Come on.
A man cannot come into her presence talking a whole lot of flim flam, or speaking real fast and thinking he's going to move her with flattering words. Because queens listen, queens ask questions, because queens need to understand motives. Queens are not moved by looks. Queens are not moved by fanciful words. Queens are moved by character. And so queens are always paying attention to what a man is saying, but they're also paying attention to what he's not saying. And when he's not saying certain things, she will ask certain questions. So as to dive into his character to see who he really is and where he's really coming from. Because queens have too much to lose.
Too much to lose. We got too much to lose. Tell me this, Bishop Blakes. One of the things I said I was going to ask you, and so you're taking this work. You're taking this work all over the land, all over our country. What has been some of the challenges that you've met up with when you're going to these other towns and you're talking to them about the book, about queenology? Tell us maybe two of the major challenges that you're meeting up with some of the women who are now walking up to you saying, Bishop Blakes, the book blessed my life, but go ahead.
Well, the first challenge that I'm meeting is that women are, some women, not most, a small percentage of the women are challenged because they have been so indoctrinated with what I call female slave conditioning, where the world teaches you to be a sex object. The world teaches you to just, set your ceiling for looking good, appeasing men, and don't really rise above that. One of the challenges I'm meeting is that for some women, it's hard for them to think of themselves as more than just a sex object. It's hard for them to see themselves as more than just somebody's girlfriend, or even more than just somebody's wife. It's hard for them to see themselves as an individual created by God to make a personal impact in the world. And so that's one of the challenges. But the Word of God always breaks up that ground. And by the end of the day, 99.9% of the time, these women are set free in their own minds. The second challenge I'm meeting is that I don't really have a lot of male leaders in the kingdom of God who really stand behind my message and support it. They don't necessarily come against it directly, but they don't support it in terms of, really getting behind it. And I don't know why that is. I would think that men that occupy positions like pastor, bishop, apostles, and prophets would have a natural inclination to the spirit of a father. And my message is only what fathers would teach their daughter in the natural or spiritually. But those are my two greatest challenges, is that I don't get a lot of support from male leadership in church, and that there's some women that it takes a little longer for me to break through that social conditioning that's locked them into this place of just, being sex objects or whatever.
That makes so much sense. But you know what? We thank God for, I keep saying, I thank God for the truth. In the book, you say the tendency to live in your feelings as opposed to living in the spirit or logic is a major disadvantage for women, because a lie can often feel real. And I think some of the sisters just gonna make a lie. They just, of course, they don't know how to get past it. So talk to us, Bishop Blakes, about, of course, sometimes women they're feeling like, oh my God, this has to be the truth. I'm too far in. That's what the problem is. Sometimes they're too far in to even think about coming out and finally realizing that the truth of the matter is that God did call you a queen. It doesn't matter what you've been through. Doesn't matter what names you were called coming through that bad marriage, or while you were a little girl, whatever. God still calls you a queen. There's a queen inside of you. Here's what I read in your book. There's a queen inside of every last one of us. We just don't know it yet sometimes. So talk
You
to us.
just don't know it.
Yeah, we just don't know.
Well, you know, in chapter 1,
Yeah.
I'm not certain where that quote, what chapter that actual quote comes from, but in chapter 1, we talk about how queens manage emotions.
Mm-hmm.
One of the greatest disadvantages of a woman that lacks queen consciousness is that she lives her life from an emotional vantage point. And when a woman lives her life from an emotional vantage point, it simply means that all of her emotional buttons are exposed to the world. So a man can come and he can press your buttons and he can get you to do whatever he wants you to do. Bad girlfriends can come, bad coworkers can come and press your buttons. But when you come into a queen consciousness, queens manage their emotions and they begin to live their lives from the inside out, as opposed to a woman who's not queen conscious, who lives her life from the outside in. The world comes in and the world impacts her and shifts her whichever way it wants to bring her. But when a woman becomes queen conscious, she lives from the inside out, which means that now she discerns a matter by way of the spirit, which now means that she analyzes a matter by way of her intellect, and she makes a decision to respond as opposed to react, because there's nothing that can dethrone a queen like emotions out of control.
Yes, sir.
And when a woman comes into a queen consciousness, she has a steady, she has a solid and consistent emotional state. Kind of reminds me of our most beloved and former First Lady, Michelle Obama. It didn't matter what those people said and how they talked about her and how they drove for it, how they called out of her name. That woman always maintained her emotions, and she always, in fact, she said, when they go low, we always go high.
She said we go
because high. Queens always dictate the tone. They never let the world, they never let men, they never let anything outside of themselves dictate the tone. They're never emotional beings. They are emotional, but they're not controlled by those emotions. Queens manage their emotions.
We manage our emotions. And of course, that was taken from chapter 2, Queens Study Kings. We're moving
Absolutely.
on to, of course, if you want the book, of course, I'm talking to my Facebook Livers right now. If you want the book, please go out and get it at rcblakes.com. rcblakes.com. And if you want to invite Bishop Blakes to your church, all you need to do is, of course, go back to that rcblakes.com. I think there's an area on there where you can actually connect with Donna, his secretary, who will share with you what needs to be done for you to bring him to bring him to teach. I'm telling you all. And of course, Bishop Blakes, you're probably going to be busy probably for the next, hopefully the next 30 years. Look, you'll be about 80 something in.
Say it again, sweetheart.
I said you're probably going to be busy for the next 30 straight years, but that you're going to be about 80 or so then.
I'll be about 83 then. I'll be 83 then.
Amen. Look, so we're here. I want to Earl is showing me I have about a good 12 minutes I think left, but I want you to talk to us before we leave, before we let you go, about Queens. Is chapter 4 in the book. Queens maximize their potential. I also want to let our viewers and listeners know that if you want to hear some of the conclusions, some more information, some more revelation to this matter of the books he's written, Wisdom for Women in Ministry, of course, Father and Daughter Talk, and of course, Queenology. If you can catch him out there on Facebook Live, he does Facebook Live. What else? What other medias are you on? Instagram? You on Facebook?
Well, you know, the thing that I'm trying to do all of those, but the thing that I'm really working from the most these days seems to be YouTube.
Okay, YouTube.
I put a lot of stuff up on YouTube, and sometimes if I have a strong enough signal, I'll even go live on YouTube.
Okay.
But basically, the ones you mentioned and YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, YouTube. I'm also on Instagram. I try to be wherever people are, especially wherever young people are.
Hey, okay, that is so amazing. As well as you and of course your brother. We got to ask you about this really quickly. You and Pastor Samuel, you have a brothers. Is it a sitcom? What? Look, I'm calling it a sitcom. You have a reality TV show. Tell us about the show. I watched. I think you had put up your first episode already. Tell us about that real quick.
Well, what that is, a group of young professionals in our ministry um, decided that they wanted to create a TV show that's going to initially air starting in March. Going to initially air, I think, on Facebook. They're working on getting some sponsors to put it on national television. But what it is basically is my brother and I answering real life questions.
Yes.
Just in the raw, just no filter, just kind of answering it, just how we feel. And so young people, they go to the streets even, and they bring the mic to the streets, and they ask young people and even older people, what are the questions? What kind of questions might you have for the Blake's brothers? And people will ask, and then we answer it just how we feel. And it's really liberating to be able to have a forum where I can really just answer it how I feel. It's not preaching. It's just me as a man, as a middle-aged man, just really answering real life questions out of my experience. And of course, based on my perspective as a man, and of course, as a man of God, I can never get away from that. But it's basically a show where we're answering real life questions in giving real life answers.
Absolutely. And so, of course, you can follow him, R.C. Blakes Jr., right there on Facebook. You can follow him on Periscope, follow him on Instagram, and now please follow him on YouTube. And so, Bishop Blakes, as we are narrowing down to our last 5 or 6 minutes with you, we are over in chapter 4. Go get the book, y'all. rcblakes.com. rcblakes.com will take you right to where you need to go to be able to purchase the book. And y'all need to purchase a whole heap of them. I'm telling you, folks are too hot on the trot about this book. Queens maximize their potential. Queens maximize their potential. You say in your book, Bishop Blakes, a queen is on a quest for self-discovery and doesn't have time to waste on pointless endeavors. Talk to us just a little bit about that, please, before we have to go.
Well, so many women, if my email were to be made public and people were to be able to see my emails, probably 75 to 80% of the questions I get are about relationships. How can I get a man? When is a man coming? How can I keep a man? And my response is always that God has put you here and planted you in the earth for more than just trying to attract a man or trying to be on a man's arm. The Bible says in Proverbs 31:29, many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all. A queen understands that she has a personal potential that is separate and apart. I'm sitting here with my wife. My wife has a personal, individual potential separate and apart from her being with me. And if she did not reach for, if she did not maximize her own personal potential, I probably would not have recognized her as a queen. There are so many women that are listening to us right now who are wasting years, wasting their lives, because all they're consumed with, obsessing over, is when can I get a man? I was talking with a dear heart last night in the place where I was, 23 years old, in fact, lives in Chicago. And she's standing there, 23 years old, obsessing over when can I get a man? You have your whole life in front of you. What is your vision? What is your plan? Where are you going? What does God put you in the earth to produce? And when we say that queens maximize their potential, it means that queens understand who they are and they do their work. They do it diligently. Queens really don't even have time to think about, I don't have a man, because they're so consumed with purpose. that by the time they have a moment to think about it, it's time to go to sleep. Queens are busy maximizing and perfecting themselves. They're not buying into the lies that society is teaching women, that you should just settle for mediocrity and spend your entire life wishing for things that are out of your control. It's up to God when he's going to bring your husband, but it's up to you to manifest that business. It's up to you to finish that degree. It's up to you to write that book. It's up to you to make this money. It's up to you to make a mark of individuality. So many people want to be coupled before they become individuals. Queens maximize their individuality. So when the king shows up, he can recognize them because they're already doing the work of a queen.
Of course, we're down to our last 4 minutes with you, but I'm not letting you get away without you. This is where we're going to end it right here. A queen's potential develops like a seed. This is going to lead us to our segue of ending the show today. Bishop Blakes, I want you to share with us your final thoughts about queenology. What do you want and also share, you're going to be in Atlanta, I believe March the 2nd on tour. And you got quite a few places to go this year, but you're going to be on tour. I put it on my Facebook page, of course. You're going to be on tour March the 2nd in Atlanta, Georgia. I want you to share what those women will walk away with when they come to experience queenology. But also I want to share with my listeners and my viewers that you can go get the book right now at rcblakes.com. We're going to be sharing some information out there on our Facebook page, on the Intellectual Radio page. We're going to let you know, rcblakes.com. You can also go to rcblakes.com and register for the queenology, of course, tour that he's going to be doing. And I think the next place is going to be Atlanta. Go ahead, Bishop Blakes. The floor is all yours. Please share.
Well, first of all, I postponed the dates for the tour.
Okay.
Because I got a bit inundated with a whole lot of things, and I'm 53 years old now, so I can't keep up with everything.
Okay.
So I have postponed the tour, but we are coming to Atlanta. I was just in Atlanta a couple of days ago, but we are coming to Atlanta with Queenology, and I'd like for them to stay connected to my website to get the exact dates.
Okay.
We are having in the city of New Orleans, June the 19th through the 21st, we're having the Innovate Conference. And a component of the Innovate Conference is another component that I have relative to women. It's called SWIM, Sisters Winning in Ministry.
Absolutely.
And those 3 days, Lisa and I are going to be pouring into women from all across the nation, women that are preachers, women that are entrepreneurs, women that are just trying to figure out their purpose. I'm inviting them to come into the city of New Orleans and to meet us June the 19th through the 21st. One of your very own local giants, Pastor John Hanna, is going to be with us. Bishop Mark Moore out of Atlanta, Georgia, is going to be with us. And that's going to be our premier event for the first part of 2018. Now, what I would love to see happen as it pertains to queenology is I would love for women to take this book and read it. And I would love for women to begin to have the discussions among themselves. Women all across the nation are taking the book and they are creating study groups. They are creating just conversations among themselves and empowering each other to become and to do all that God has put you in the earth to do. And I would love for this movement to begin to change a generation, that women will begin to take their daughters and begin to teach their daughters from the earliest years who they really are.
Absolutely.
And begin to break down this social conditioning that has corrupted and degraded the woman's self-perspective. That, for me, would be the ideal.
And let it be written, so let it be done. Listen, this has been my guest He's been my guest, my big brother calling in from, look, he's either in Louisiana or Texas, but it's Bishop R.C. Blakes Jr. Of course, the name of the book is Queenology. I've been your girl, one sister to another, with a show with information, inspiration, and godly revelation. You've heard us right here live on IntellectualRadio.com and iHeart Radio Station. And guess what? We love you all. We thank you all for joining us, and we will catch you again on, of course, March 8th, Thursday. God bless.